Hi everybody, welcome to this section entitled the syllable. We know that the syllable is obtained by combining vowels and consonants together, but we have got a problem in the definition of the syllable. How to define the syllable in a clear way? This, here represents a great problem for us and for linguists in general, and this is what we will try to show through this lecture. First of all, we can say that it is part of the native speaker's intuition to identify syllables. This intuitive sense allows us to talk about rhythm in poetry. For example, in French, the pattern of verses, of course in poems, depends on the number of syllables in each line. That's why we say that French is a syllable-timed language, as opposed to English, which is a stress-timed language. Anyway, the syllable is smaller than the word, bigger than a sound segment. Despite the general agreement among native speakers, there can be cases of disagreement. What do we mean here? It means that the majority of the words that you give to native speakers and you ask them to divide those words into syllables, all native speakers may come up with the same number of syllables in those words, but we have got some cases where they disagree. For example, here predatory, is it 4 syllables, predatory, or predatory? Just 3. Mysticism, here there is some doubt in here among native speakers whether we are going to consider them as 1 syllable or there is nothing in here. Now, heavier, is it heavier or heavier? Is it 3 syllables or 2 syllables? Lightning, meaning getting bright, and lightning meaning flash here. Here some people pronounce them in the same way. The same number of syllables in here are found in here. Now, of course, we know some people would put some kind of schwa in here, lightning, to make it different from this. But of course, for some, the two are pronounced in the same way. There is no difference, between these two words here. So in fact, we have got cases of disagreement. We are going to see more cases later on. Now, a general definition, a simple definition given to us by Malmberg is this one here. It says, a syllable consisting of a consonant plus a vowel represents the most primitive and without doubt historically the oldest of all syllable types, the only one which is general in all languages. This is a very simple definition of the syllable. It says that the notion of the syllable is a universal notion. It exists in most languages of the world. This pattern, CV, consonant vowel, is one of the linguistic universals that exists in the majority of the languages of the world here. So it's one of the linguistic universals. Now, whenever languages have syllable types other than CV, consonant vowel, complications arise in the exact determination of syllable boundaries. We would like to see the limits or the boundaries between syllables. For example, in here, in the word captain, where is the boundary? Where is the dividing line between the first syllable and the second syllable? Here we have got, 2 consonants p and t between the first and the second syllable. Among these 2 consonants, what consonant is going to join the first one and what consonant is going to join the second one? Even in here we have got a very complicated case here. Exploit, we have got 4 consonants between the 2 vowels. When I say the 2 vowels, I mean the 2 syllables in here. So among these 4 consonants, what consonants we are going to consider as members of the first syllable, and what consonants we are going to consider as members of the second syllable here? Same thing here, employ, how can we divide this word in terms of syllables here? So I've got a certain problem here. which if you like, concerns the division of syllables here. Now, should a word with this structure, consonant vowel, consonant consonant vowel, should this word with this structure be syllabified as? Syllabified, it means divided into syllables here. So are we going to divide it in this way, consonant vowel, and here we have got the division here, the divided line here, and the next syllable is going to include consonant consonant vowel, or the first syllable is going to have this shape, consonant vowel consonant, and we have got the second one consonant vowel, or CVCC, and the other consonant has got only a vowel. So we have got different possibilities. So of course we have got different possibilities. It means that this represents a problem. Okay, because we need to define clearly the notion of the syllable, and we need to know how we are going to divide in a very consistent way the words in terms of syllables. Now we are going to clarify this point through the following slides. First of all, let's talk about the production and the recognition of the syllable. First of all, we can say that the syllable is easy to identify but impossible to define. This is something that we have to retain, okay, to remember. The identification of the syllable is easy. You remember we said that when you give a certain word to native speakers and you ask them to divide the word into syllables, it's easy for them. They can identify the syllable. But if you ask them to define the notion of the syllable, this is somewhat impossible. It's very, very difficult here. And this is what we will have to show through the following slides. So we have got this question, this big question that we are going to try to clarify. What is a syllable? For this purpose, we are going to deal with some kind of attempts, some approaches, some different points of view, okay, towards the notion of the syllable. And these are things that we are going to find in here. Now, the first, if you like, point of view, the first, if you like, theory being proposed to to reveal the nature of the syllable is the one offered by Jespersen. He's a linguist. He developed a theory of the syllables on the basis of auditory criteria. I think now you are familiar with the word auditory. We have got auditory phonetics, this from our phonetics course. Okay, now we are going to explain it in here. He said, this linguist, Jespersen, he said syllables depend on the sonority of their sounds. Okay, sonority, which means they make more noise, they are louder. And the whole theory is called the Sonority Theory. Now, there is a difference, there is a difference of degrees of sound noise between, of course, different categories of sounds. Here we have got this class of vowels, open vowels. They are the most sonorant, which means they make the loudest, if you like, sound. They are louder. And we have got another category of vowels just below them. They are less loud, if you like. The category of mid vowels. Another category which make less noise than mid vowels and open vowels is a class of vowels that we call close vowels. Followed by another class of sounds that we call R sounds and semi-vowels. They have got, less noise than the first three in here. And we have got even 4 nasals and laterals. These are less, they make less noise than 5. 3 voice fricatives make less noise than 4. 2 voice stops make less noise than 3. And the least sonorant, the ones that make if you like, the less noise and the least, if you like, noise, are voiceless stops and voiceless fricatives. So we have got here a scale of sonority. We are classifying sounds, classes of sounds, according to the noise they make here. So these ones make the least, if you like, noise here, and the ones which make the most, if you like, the most sonorant sounds are open vowels here. So we have got a scale. I need you to visualize and to remember this scale here, this order of classes of sounds according to their sonority here. And this is going to help us, if you like, explain the structure of the syllable according to this theory. Let us have a look at this example. We have got strength. Look at the sounds composing this word. This s is a voiceless fricative, followed by t, which is a voiceless stop. Both of them, according to the scale, you remember, they have got degree number 1, level number 1, the least sonorant. So here, this is number 1. Okay, so s and t have, are the least sonorant. This is level number 1. Now when we reach r, our sound, we have to go up to level number 5. Remember, our sounds, this is number 5. They are louder than 1 in here. Okay, now this r, this is the level of it, is followed by a. This a is a mid vowel, so we have got to go up here, so to the level 7 here. So we have got this level here. This is the loudest normally in this word here, followed by n, the nasal, number 4. We need to go down here, number 4, followed by this voiceless fricative. So number 1, we need to go to number 1 here. Look, so which is the loudest one among these sounds here? It is this one, a. Here, when we reach a, we go up. So we have got 1 peak here. In this whole word, we have got 1 peak. This is the sound which is louder. If we have got 1 peak in this case, so 1 peak equals 1 syllable. Now, if you ask native speakers about the number of syllables in this word, they're going to say that we have got 1. So if you like, this theory is successful in this way because it explains what native speakers know unconsciously about the word strength. Okay, this one contains 1 syllable because according to this theory we have got only 1 peak in here. Now let's have a look at another example to further exemplify this sonority theory. Look, this one word, mutton chops, mutton chops here. Now m is a nasal sound, it's degree number 4, followed by this vowel. We need to go up. Now this vowel is followed by the voiceless stop, number 1, n, number 4, followed by ch, voiceless affricate, and o, you need to go up the vowel. Just remember the scale of sonority. Now here we have got p, voiceless stop, followed by the voiceless fricative, so number 1, both of them. How many peaks do we have in this word? We have got here 1 for a, we have got this one for the nasal n, and we have got this one for o. Now here this nasal, it seems that there is something before it, a certain vowel, a certain schwa. Since the schwa does not appear, this n becomes syllabic here. So how many syllables do we have here? We have got 1, 2, 3. So 3 peaks corresponding to the 3 syllables in this word, mutton chops. Now another example, bottle. In the word bottle we have got this O and this L. Between T and O there is a certain schwa in here. Once again, since the schwa does not appear, the L becomes syllabic. So it forms a whole syllable by itself. So how many peaks we have here? 1 for O, and the other one for L here. So if you like, this theory is successful in this way because it coincides with what native speakers would say about the number of syllables in words. But what about this word here, ruin? We know that ruin has got 2 syllables. However, according to this theory, how many peaks do we have in this word? Only 1, because this is number 5. When we reach U, the close vowel, we need to go up, followed by another close vowel. We are still maintaining the same level here, and we need to go down because of the nasal, number 4 here. Okay, so in a way, how many peaks? Only 1. So which means we know that the word has got 2 syllables, but the theory says it has got only 1 peak, 1 syllable. So it's some kind of counterexample. This word ruin is a counterexample for this theory, which means that this theory is not successful in this way. It's not successful even for many other words here, which means that we need to change a little bit the theory here. Now consider other examples, which form what you call counterexamples or exceptions to the theory. Cadre. In the word cadre here, according to native speakers of French, it contains only 1 syllable, cadre. But according to that theory, we're going to have a peak corresponding to the vowel and another peak corresponding to r here. So here we have got a non-correspondence between what the theory predicts and what the native speaker knows as a number of the syllables in this word here. Same thing for prière. Same thing for vegetable. Hidden names cannot be made different from hidden names. Fatally and Italy cannot be made different in this case here. Now, these are some what we call counterexamples to this first theory. Now, how many peaks and how many syllables? I will leave it to you now that you are familiar with this theory. Try to find how many peaks here, and therefore how many syllables. To say, for example, try to compare Italy and Italy, vegetables, hidden names and hidden names, and even cadre and prière. Okay. Now, this theory that we have just considered is not general enough because it cannot deal with many exceptions. Therefore, we need another way, an alternative. What's the alternative here? It's the one proposed by Stenson here. He hypothesized that a syllable is a group of sounds which is made with a single puff of air. Well, a single puff of air is a chest pulse, which is a single contraction of the muscles between the ribs, which forces a puff of air from the lungs through the vocal tract. Of course, you are all familiar with what we have got in here. You know what happens in phonetics, how we produce sounds. You know the job of the lungs, the job of the ribs, the job of the muscles between the ribs, and everything. So just go back to your phonetics course, to revise these things here. Now let's look at the examples. The word talk needs only 1 chest pulse, 1 puff of air. So it contains 1 syllable. Command, it needs 2 puffs of air, 2 chest pulses. Therefore, it has got 2 syllables. Syllabic, here it needs 3 pulses, chest pulses, or 3 puffs of air. So it has got 3 syllables. So the number of chest pulses or puffs of air that you need to produce a certain word equal, this number equals the number of syllables in it here. So we can equate once again the number of puffs of air, or what we call chest pulses, with the number of if you like, syllables in words. So this is what we have got in these examples in here. Now of course, we're going to find that we have got some problems with this theory. We are going to go back to these problems later on. But anyway, let me just point out that the two theories, okay, represent what we call the phonetic account of syllables. But Stetson's is the articulatory point of view, whereas Jesperson's is an auditory point of view. Now let's look at the exceptions, the problems that the theory proposed by Stetson faces. For example, the word city here, city, it's normally produced or pronounced by native speakers as city. Here, this word may be produced with one chest pulse, one puff of air, one effort, because this second syllable is not a strong one, is a weak one here. So in fact, we know, and native speakers know, that this word city has got two syllables. But according to this theory by Stetson, it is said that the word city does not need two puffs of air. It needs only one puff of air or one chest pulse. So which means this word city, according to this theory, should contain only one syllable. But in fact, in reality, this word city contains two. So there is some kind of contradiction between what the theory predicts and what native speakers know. So this is the first problem. Now the opposite of city is this word pots. This word pots, according to native speakers, it has got only one syllable. But in its production, it needs two puffs of air, two chest pulses. One strong, pot, and the other one weak for ts, pots here. So this is another problem. Now the same problem, okay, the same thing applies to words such as better, better, fitter. In all of them we have got two syllables, but the second one is weak, which means that the whole word needs only one puff of air, one chest pulse. Okay, so according to the theory, all these, three words need only one puff of air, which means that they include only one syllable. But as we know, and as native speakers, all of them know, the three words have got, two syllables here, which means that there is some kind of difference between what the theory predicts and what these words include as syllables here. Now, even if there were a one-to-one correspondence of chest pulses and syllables, speakers would find it difficult to determine which of two adjacent syllables contains a particular consonant segment. This is the problem we mentioned before. Between the first syllable and the second syllable, we have got many consonants. Where shall we draw the line, the frontier, the boundary between the first syllable and the second syllable? The same thing applies to this word practically here. So in general, although we can recognize the number of syllables in words, it's not always clear where to put the boundary between syllables. So this is, the last point that we are going to mention in this first part of the syllable. Later on, I'm going to record for you the second part of this course entitled the syllable.